Consider supporting Review Tech USA on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description.
Wait a second, what sorcery is this? Review Tech USA is reviewing tech in the USA?
Skip it up and that up.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Rich of Review Tech USA, and the good people over at AVerMedia were nice enough to send me a long time ago. Had this thing for like over a month, I'm sorry. But anyway, they were nice enough to send me the AVerMedia Live Gamer Portable 2 Plus. That name just rolls right off the tongue. This is the same as the Live Gamer Portable 2, but now with the new 4K gaming consoles like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. This won't record in 4K, but it will pass through 4K and will still record footage at 1080p 60 FPS. So if you still want to capture footage and you want to actually see your new shiny Xbox One X games in 4K, you can still capture the footage at 1080p 60 FPS and see 4K on your nice pretty 4K TV. So that's a nice little addition they have to the Live Gamer Portable 2 Plus. But there's a caveat to it that we'll talk about at the end. But anyway, if you're unfamiliar with this capture card, let's take a look around it and show you some of the features. The design of it looks like those Italian chocolates. You know those triangle-shaped Italian chocolates that you could like break off? Yes, I'm using a fat guy analogy, but it looks like that. Not the prettiest design in the world, but it's a capture card. If it does its job, who cares what it looks like? But let's see what features it has on it. It has an HDMI in and out, so it's a pass-through. This only goes through USB 2.0 via micro USB, which why they're still using USB 2 and micro USB is beyond me. So there's no way you could actually just like look at the preview screen like you can on the Elgato HD60S and there'll be minimal lag. With this, there'll be a ton of lag, so you have to use the pass-through when you capture footage. So you have your HDMI out to your TV and your HDMI in to the capture card, micro USB, USB 2.0. Nothing made after the year 2014, in my opinion, should be using USB 2.0, but whatever, that's what they're using with this capture card. You have your micro SD card slot, so you could actually record footage right to the capture card. You don't have to have it hooked up to a computer, which is probably the biggest selling point of the Live Gamer Portable 2 Plus, but we'll get more into that in a minute. Now on the front here, this is actually interesting. If you actually want to capture your chat via your headset, you can do that. You would actually plug in a 3.5 millimeter jack into your headset, your Xbox One headset, and then you would plug the other side here, then you would plug your headset right here where it has the headphone jack symbol, and you can record your chat. So that's actually pretty cool. That's a nice plus to this capture card. You got your volume control right here, and this is actually fairly interesting. There's 3 modes on the Live Gamer Portable 2 Plus. You have your PC mode, so you could record via the Record Central AVerMedia software. We'll get into that in a minute too. You have your PC free mode where it records right to the SD card with no computer required. And you have your card reader mode, so you could actually transfer the files off the micro SD card that you just recorded right onto the computer. So it's a card reader as well, the Live Gamer Portable 2 Plus, which is nice. So you don't have to constantly take the SD card in and out. You could just simply plug the Live Gamer Portable 2 Plus into your PC and then just transfer the files you recorded onto the computer. So that's pretty sweet. So that's the features of the Live Gamer Portable 2, but let's get into the most important part. How does it record? We're going to start with Record Central. I hate the software. I think it's terrible. It's very unstable. It's very unreliable. I actually hooked this up to a AMD Threadripper 1950X PC with 64 gigabytes of RAM and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti, and it has an optimal preset, which actually records at 30 megabits per second. I wanted to go beyond that. They actually have an option where you can make a custom preset and you can actually set it at 60 megabits per second. I was getting frame rate drops on an AMD Threadripper 1950X rig. This was giving me frame rate drops. Keep in mind I record 4K footage on my 1950X all the time. So I just went to the optimal preset and I recorded a few games, which you're going to see here. I'll also have another video, because this video is only at 24 frames per second at 4K, where you could see raw, uncut footage from the Live Gamer Portable 2 Plus, and you could see it at 1080p 60 FPS. And recording from Record Central, the footage didn't really look that great. The colors looked kind of washed. Even though it was 1080p, if you told me the footage was being recorded in 720p, I wouldn't bat an eye. Everything kind of looked hazy. And you would think recording to the Record Central software, which is much less compressed than when you record to the SD card right on the capture card, you would think you get a better picture. Not really. Now here's me recording to the SD card in PC free mode, and the footage doesn't look that much worse. It still looks bad. I don't like the way the footage from this capture card looks at all, but you're not getting that much of an improvement recording to the PC. So if you're going to buy one of these, you might as well just record in PC free mode. It just saves you the headache. On top of it too, one of the things that bothered me about the Record Central software is it's very power hungry. It requires you to have a fairly beefy PC. When I first started recording with this, I actually had a Xiaomi laptop, which had a dual-core i5 in it. It was a brand new computer and it had an MX150 NVIDIA graphics chip in there. And I was getting a ton of frame rate drops. The footage was unwatchable. That's how much the frame rate was dropping. I talked to some engineers over at AVerMedia and they're like, no, you need like a quad-core processor, i5, i7, and dedicated graphics, or else you're going to get frame rate drops. And that to me is like, what's the point of an external graphics card then? the whole reason you buy one of these is because it takes the stress off your computer. If you need a fairly beefy computer, then you might as well just use software. And a lot of times now, if you have an Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, you're better off recording your games right on the consoles anyway. Hell, the Xbox One X, you could actually record footage to a thumb drive at 4K 60 FPS, and it will actually capture HDR onto your thumb drive. So that was pretty disappointing that you needed all that horsepower just to run this card properly. Oh, I almost forgot to mention this too. Okay, great. Even though it only records at 1080p 60 FPS, you could pass through 4K, and if you have a 4K TV, you could still play your games in 4K and capture at 1080p. There's a catch though. Doesn't pass through HDR. I'm showing you right here from the Xbox One X. It doesn't do it. I confirmed it with AVerMedia. It'll pass through 4K, but not HDR, which that's a big part of the experience now with these mid-gen refresh consoles. The PS4 Pro and Xbox One X is HDR, and you can't pass that through. Why does this exist? All right, ladies and gentlemen, final verdict time. It kills me not to recommend this thing, man. It really does, because back in the day, AVerMedia, when I first started doing Review Tech USA full-time, and I was using gameplay footage up until recently, they were the capture card I went to, the original Live Gamer Portable. I captured all of my footage on that thing, even PC gaming. Even PC, when I played games on PC, I captured it on the original Live Gamer Portable, and I loved AVerMedia, and they still make good products. The mic I have from them is pretty damn good, but what is the point of this? Especially now that consoles capture footage beautifully. On PC with my NVIDIA graphics card, I use Shadow Play, which has minimal impact on the performance, so you still get silky smooth frame rates when you capture video with NVIDIA Shadow Play. There's just so many software options now, and the consoles can actually capture footage themselves. You don't need to have a separate capture card like you did during the 7th generation of consoles, that I really don't see the point of external capture cards. So I would say save your money and use it on something else. It disappoints me not to recommend this capture card from AVerMedia, but they could have done a much better job. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. And to hear more content like this, make sure to subscribe to Review Tech USA.